Hello everyone, Steve Wiss here, and I hope you're all doing really well. It's been a couple of months since our last episode. It's been really busy times. Jonathan's been completing a university degree. I've been tied up with a lot of stuff, snowed under with family matters, work matters, all sorts of things. But we're back now, and the Scandinavian season in Norway, Sweden resumes at the end of this month, and we're hoping to bring some more excellent content to you. Before then, we've got a few interviews to get out there. I've got a great one here with Norwegian TV presenter Jon Børrestad, who kindly joined me last week for a great chat. I hope you really enjoy it. Jonathan's got some content that he had when he went out to Scandinavia in the last few weeks. And as I say, thank you very much for your patience out there. NFP is certainly not dead or anything like that. We are back, and we're going to be going with loads more content, hopefully, in the next few weeks. But yeah, got this interview with Jon now. I'm going to lead straight into it. Hope you all enjoy it and take care. Oh, and enjoy the Euros as well. Cheers. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a special edition of the Nordic Football Podcast. I'm Steve Wiss, and I am delighted to have a special guest on the show out there in Norway. It's Jon Hartvig Børrestad, and I think I might have got that a little bit wrong, Jon, but welcome to the show, and thanks very much for coming.
Thank you so much, Steve, for letting me on. And I have to say the pronunciation is nearly spot on. I'll give you 9 out of 10 for that one. So brilliant.
That will do me very well indeed. And as I say, for those listening who might not know that much about you, certainly over in the UK, perhaps you are basically a well-known sports broadcaster out there in Norway. I think you've certainly been around the block, as we would say here, over the years. Just tell the audience a little bit more about yourself and what your general roles are up there.
Yeah. So for the moment, and for basically the last 20 years, with a little trip to another channel, I've been working for TV2 Norway, which is the largest commercial television station in Norway, and it's well known for their big sports department. And I've covered everything from Premier League to the Eliteserien, or the Tippeliga, as it was once known.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And Champions League, our national team. Soon I'm going to the Euros. So football is mainly what I do, and I'm a presenter for TV2 and the football shows we all make. And I think I'm in my 21st year doing that. So I'm not a young man anymore.
Father time catches up with everyone.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen obviously your roles down the years. I think you've been to the Olympics and stuff. You were saying perhaps I know other big sports like skiing, handball over there. TV2 is, I suppose, the best equivalent I can think of in the UK is probably Sky TV, that has a lot of the main events, or BT Sport, something along those lines.
Yeah. It's not a bad shout, and there's mainly 2 or 3 big channels in Norway, and TV2, as I said, the biggest commercial one. So let's do a hybrid of ITV and Sky.
TV2 obtained the rights again for Eliteserien. I think it was the start of last season, because Eurosport had it for 2 or 3 years. So TV2 back in, and there was I from what I remember, there was a fair bit of excitement that there was a change again in the guard of these channels getting the main event, Eliteserien. How has it been since TV2's got the contract back? Has it been working really well?
It's been absolutely brilliant for us working, and hopefully for the viewers as well. But the main thing in Norway now is the VAR debate going on, and my guess and my gut feeling, Steve, is that VAR will be dropped in a year or two, because people are absolutely fed up with it, and all they have to do is look across the border, look at Sweden. As you know, the Nordic Football Podcast, it's working without the VAR there. So almost everything in Norway is surrounding the VAR debate at the moment. So that's the only bad thing, I guess. But but what's it called again? Sorry about my English there, Steve. But the spectators are coming back in a massively way as well. So people are going to the grounds in a much higher volume than earlier. So Norwegian football on the up, I think, and it might have something to do with TV2 coming back, because we have a bigger sort of churning wheel that can pump out daily shows, massive website which people follow, and we have a larger operation, I would say, than Eurosport, that had the rights earlier.
I like it. I like it. Giving your own company a nice big up and bit of. But you are right. The Allsvenskan. I have grown to like the Allsvenskan quite a lot more in the last couple of years. Probably no VAR involved has maybe aided that a little bit. But obviously, Eliteserien's always been the league that I followed with the most interest since 20 years, and I've seen it evolve over the years. There was the periods where honestly I hated it. I felt the standard was so low, very depressed. I think it was like the first or second season we did a Nordic football podcast. I was very downbeat about Eliteserien, but I've seen it grow back strong again in recent years. What sort of, just how strong do you think the league is now compared to where it was, say, 5 years ago? Because I believe it is in a far better position than it ever once was before COVID.
I think you're absolutely right, Steve, and it's a brilliant question, because you might argue that Norwegian club football has never been stronger. If you look at the last couple of seasons combined, will always fluctuate a bit because of players coming in and out. And last season we lost a lot of good footballers from the Eliteserien, especially the strikers, which I guess we'll come back to later as well. But I would say it's in a fantastic place, and you can see the youth teams, the national youth teams of Norway, doing very well as well at the moment. So there's a lot of talent coming up, and there's always been a good culture for bringing in good talent from other parts of the world. We always seem to find an amazing African striker to bring into the Eliteserien. Akur Adams, for example, Mumbanya in Bodø Glimt being maybe the two last good examples. So it's on a good level. It might be even better than the Swedish one, I think. Or maybe
definitely.
Maybe the Swedish one looks a bit more proper if you look at it from the outside in, because they've got massive following, they've got great people, attendance is big, but on a pure footballing sort of level, I think it's never been better.
Yeah, I would certainly agree with that. I mean, we're going to talk about coefficient in a minute. That's an area of evidence you could use towards that. I think the league this year has changed a little bit. There's less goals. Now, for those, many listeners know that historically Eliteserien, the top two leagues in Norway are known for a lot of goals, a high average amount of goals. For the betters amongst us, get on the overs, unders don't happen as often. But I think there's a shift so far this season. I've noticed it, and I kind of suspected it might happen. The average goals per game have come down to 2.86, which really could even be lower than that. There's been 2 or 3 wild games which have managed to get that mark over. Over 2.5 goals is only at 53% this season, which is down by nearly 10%. I think we've got managers in who are better. Well, I don't want to say better tactically, but a different style of tactic. Yep. I think the players overall, generally, the actual players are of a better quality. Which again, I think that points towards a league being stronger. Often down the years, if a league, the number of goals in the league actually come down, contrary to public belief, it often means it's actually improving. So, do you see a change this season compared even to last season?
Yeah, I think you're right on this, and I've followed you for a long time, Steve. You don't know this, but I've followed you on your betting channel as well. So I've been on the overs a few times and got burnt this season. So it's a great question, and it's multifaceted. I think the answer, because as we talked about earlier, the strikers. Where are the strikers this season? Who's top scorer for the club? Is it Lene Olsen at Lillestrøm, the only striker, which is his club's top scorer this season?
I can't think of another one. No. Saito, maybe.
Yeah. So the strikers are missing in action this season, and it might have something to do that we lost great strikers last season. Mubanya went from Bodø Glimt. Akor Adams tearing up Europe as well. Amal Pellegrino, a fellow Drammenser, Drammen-born player. So we've lost a few of our goal-scoring strikers or attackers, and that's one answer. And then you have the newly promoted teams in KFUM, the YMCA, as it's probably known to our English listeners. Kristiansund, shortened down to KBK here in Norway, and of course Fredrikstad, which all have, I think, exceptionally good coaches, young, unknown, and drilling their teams to almost perfection. Look at Fredrikstad. They played through the Obosliga without conceding a goal, and they've done them exactly the same coming up. Have massive results, beaten Brann away here in Bergen without conceding a goal. So I think the combination between strikers going out, the clubs coming up, who have a focus on being well drilled, organized, and maybe a shift as well, as you said. Maybe people have looked at it and gone, maybe we need to tweak a bit of things. It's fun winning 4-3, but it's not that fun letting in 3 goals every match. Easier to win 1-0. So, I think it's a good observation.
It's interesting. Obviously, Norway, as along with a lot of the Scandinavian leagues down the years, has always had a problem being able to keep its best talent and players. It's just the way it goes. The best ones move on. Are we going to be in a stage in the next year or two where it's going to be hard to keep the best managers, because there's this new wave of managers and head coaches who and it's actually, I've noticed this around a lot of Europe, actually, even in the UK, this new wave, they're aged about between sort of 35 to 43. And, there's some really, you're right, the 3 coaches of the newly promoted sides are excellent. Yeah. And are we at a stage where some of these managers in the Eliteserien right now, we might see 5 or 6 of them really at quite a high level in, say, 5 years' time?
Yeah, maybe. And look at Kjetil Knutsen in Bodø Glimt, which already has been linked to Ajax many a times, especially when the manager is out of a job in Amsterdam. But he's one who definitely will be on the radar because of his European pedigree as well, of course, and done really well with the Glimt abroad. So he's one of them. But looking at the promoted teams, they're exactly in the mold you're talking about. Young, fresh, modern coaches, you could call them in many ways. Look like they have fantastic connection with their footballers and their players, and treating them in a different way than the old school shouting angry man. Not the Neil Warnock style, you could say in many ways, but maybe that's our next export. But I'm a bit sad about all this. The strikers not being at their level this season, and it's hard to take from a proud striking nation, being it Tore André Flo, Ole Gunnar Solskjær, John Carew, Stefan Iversen, Erling Braut Haaland, Alexander Sørloth, Jørgen Strand Larsen, even in Celta Vigo. I know you're a big fan, Steve. So hard to take, hard to see them miss. So hopefully they'll bounce back in the second half of the season, and the goals will start to flow again.
Well, so far this season, have you been surprised by any teams in Eliteserien? Would you say in a good or a bad way, really? We talk about these strikers. I suppose it was no real secret heading into the year that there wasn't that many on paper who we could consider elite, because the league had lost a lot of them. So, I mean, I think it's been a really difficult league to predict, but in a way that I could foresee that. There's a few people who think that a lot of teams are at the same level this season, which is, I think, possibly true.
Yeah.
So have you been surprised how competitive the league has been? Everyone seems to be capable of taking points off everyone this year.
Massively surprised. And again, coming back to the newly promoted teams, they've done so very well. Look at KFUM going to Aspmyra. That's away at Bodø, being the best team.
Yeah, outplayed them, didn't they?
Being disappointed playing 2-2, which in the normal world they should have, gone off being happy, being beaten by 2 in many ways. So the newly promoted team has been super impressive. I think the big negative for me maybe Sarpsborg 08 or 08. Which is a strange club name for people not that connected to Norwegian football, but it's the year they were born, in, so to say, in 08. It's quite a fresh club, but they've been very disappointing. I think this season, and shambles maybe in so many ways, conceding goals, not scoring them. Can't really see what they're trying to do in many ways. So that's the negative surprise, I think.
Yeah.
But the competition and the way that the smaller clubs are doing this season, bridging the gap to the top teams, have been very impressive. And I have to say, I think Bodø/Glimt and Molde maybe suffering a bit from having very long seasons, playing European qualifications and all that. So I think the summer break, which Norwegian football is in right now because of the Euros, will do them very well. I think they will come back much stronger in the second half of the season, especially Bodø/Glimt, I think.
If I'm normally the one who does a lot of predictions, but I'm going to ask you for a prediction, John.
Yeah.
If you had to predict the order of medals this year, the gold, silver, and bronze at this stage, we've had, I think, 12, 13 games. What would your top 3 prediction be?
Oh, it'll be boring though. We can talk.
We can be boring. It'll be as boring as you want to be.
We can talk about all the upsets that's been this season and everything, but Bodø/Glimt will win. I think so. They've got massive, big, strong squad. They might even bolster that in the season. They usually do 1 or 2 signings, and they do it from the other Premier League. Eliteserien teams as well. So they might strengthen in the summer, maybe find a winger, make them even stronger. They'll go on and win it. And I'll have Brann as silver medalists, still on that high from last season, still playing that Formula 1 sort of football, high intensity, great atmosphere here in Bergen, great backing. So I'll do them as number 2, and Molde really should be top 3. It was a disastrous season for them last season. Well, they won the cup, which actually saved them. But if you look at the league season, it was horrendous. Not by the standards in any way. So those should be the top 3, and it's a boring answer, but if you put a treble on it, it might go in.
How close are Brann to potentially winning the league? Because the first time recently when Bodø/Glimt slipped up a little bit, I was thinking maybe this could be their year. They scored with the last kick of the game against Kristiansund, and I'm thinking, is this their chance? Yeah. Or will they get more chances in the future? Could they win it this year?
They could. They need Bodø/Glimt to slip up in some games. a few games, actually, I think. But they are the one team that, at this point, looks closest to Bodø/Glimt, and were last season as well. Faded off a bit at the end of the season. Brann lost to Strømsgodset in Drammen, but hey ho, who doesn't? At the magnificent Marienlyst Stadion. Yeah, this might be the chance. This might be the chance, or the coming season. But it needs Glimt to fade away in some point, and really don't see that happening because the especially the money that Bodø/Glimt are getting in is unmatched in Norwegian football. Yes, Molde, they've got a rich uncle, which is 1 point bought Wimbledon in England, and got the mad professor Egil Drillo Olsen to be their manager. So he's still there around funding the club, but the amount of money coming into Bodø/Glimt compared to the other Norwegian teams, the gap is just bigger and bigger, Steve. So can't see them fading away either. They're building a new stadium. They want to build a new stadium. They can get more people in. The only problem they have is that the city is quite small, so the following can't get much bigger.
Might be a situation where we have in America where like the Green Bay Packers. The club's bigger than the city, pretty much. Things like that. But
well, they have to do a Milton Keynes thing. Move Wimbledon to Milton Keynes.
Oh gosh, yeah. It's funny enough about your Marienlyst Stadion there. I have to say, as you might have heard this once. I love the theme tunes and songs that a lot of clubs in Scandinavia have before games and after the games as well. You have two or three great ones actually. I love the Gamle Gress.
Oh,
brilliant! Love that before the show.
Old grass, actually, old grass.
And then you have the one that they sometimes play at half time at the end of the game, especially if you won. Good stuff from Drammen. I really like that one as well.
There you go. Your knowledge is fantastic, Steve. You're absolutely right. And I think you're on to top 2 football songs in Norway. There, me not being biased.
They are right up there for sure. But
they are up there, definitely.
You mentioned, Bodø/Glimt have been a sensation in the last few years. No one could have predicted this 10 years ago. We would never have thought we could be in this position. Obviously, they've profited a lot from players, but they've also been helped by the money that they've been getting in playing in Europe. Molde as well have managed to get in themselves quite a lot of coefficient points in recent years. The Norwegian coefficient is the highest I have personally ever known it in my time covering football. I don't know whether in the 90s it was higher, possibly was, but it's really, really improving. And are we at a stage now where the Champions League's expanding a little bit?
Yep.
Completely different format in all the 3 UEFA competitions. Yep. Could we see a Norwegian team back in the group stages? Could Bodø/Glimt even qualify this year?
Yes, they can. Yes, they can. Definitely can. That's the big aim. We've been unlucky not to have Bodø/Glimt in the Champions League already. This is 2 seasons ago, isn't it? Yeah, I think so. They were a much better team. And who's that?
Zagreb, wasn't it?
Zagreb, yeah. Who then went into Chelsea's group. I think I remember. Much better side of those 2 games. Couldn't really find the net. That was the only problem. And heartbreaking to see for them, actually, because they've done everything right in so many ways over so many years. And being the best team over 2 legs, and then just being absolutely knackered I think they went to extra time as well. And that's when Kjetil Knutsen said, all right, we need more than 13, 14 players. To reach this level, we might need 20. And that's what they've done now. They've built a bigger, stronger squad. So I think we've already been unlucky not to see a Norwegian team in the Champions League, but definitely now with the new format expanding, as you say, Steve. Yeah, why not?
It's looking promising. Yeah. It is looking promising for sure.
Yes. But they need more than they have been the first half of the season to do that. They need to be better. But my guess is that they will be. They will be.
Just quickly on Knudsen, are you surprised he's kind of still there? Because he's been linked in the last 3-4 years with a lot of clubs. He was linked with my own Leeds at one point. It looked like we were going to get potentially Knudsen instead of Jesse Marsh. I wish that had happened.
That would be
I mean, are you surprised that he still is there, considering how coveted he is?
Yeah. And it shows his character. And I've spoken to him, of course, many times. And he is a man of very, very strong character. And he basically his answer is, my job here is not finished. I think I can take the team to even higher levels. Kjetil Knudsen is from Bergen, here where I live at the moment. And unfortunately, I've done for 21 years because it's raining outside now, and it's been raining for 21 years. So one day, Steve, I'll be in a sunny place. But this is where Kjetil Knudsen is from. And if you just have a look at the Norwegian map, it's a long way to Bodø. His family still lives here. He flies in, flies out few times a year, but he stays there by himself. He's basically gone all in on Bodø Glimt, doing them, trying to make them the best team in Scandinavia. So yeah, massively surprised he hasn't jumped on a big offer from abroad, because as you talked about earlier as well, I think there's a shift in modern management today, and maybe bigger clubs and the Norwegian teams are looking at metrics, numbers, other things than just sort of how many trophies have you lifted or what have you done before. So he fits the bill in so many ways, I think, and being linked to Leeds, Premier League clubs, Ajax, he was linked to. So yeah, massively surprised he stayed, but it tells everything about his character and how he likes to think and work. And he's a stubborn man, I would say, but very impressive. Everything is done at Bodø Glimt. So we'll see. One day he will look at the project as complete, and he'll move on, and then I guess we'll see him in a bigger league.
Of course, one club which reportedly did offer a job to Knudsen in the last couple of years was Rosenborg. I get asked two main questions about Norwegian football by the general public. Yeah. The second thing we'll come on to a minute in the Norwegian national team, but the first one is Rosenborg, because like myself, a lot of people grew up watching them win the league every year. Yeah, I think it's still, if I asked 10 friends around here in Yorkshire, and I asked them what's the biggest Norwegian club, I can guarantee you that will be the answer. Yeah, that they give. So, I guess what has happened to Rosenborg? Do you see them coming back strong again soon? Have you seen some positive signs? Are we going to see them back in the title race in the next few years, do you think?
It'll take some time to see Rosenborg back. What's gone wrong in Rosenborg? We need a 24-hour live show, Steve, to get through it. At least maybe a week. Oh my God, everything has gone wrong with the Rosenborg, from playing quarterfinals in the Champions League, beating AC Milan away, to nearly getting down to the Obos-liga. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. It's by far the biggest club in Norway. Should be the biggest one in Scandinavia, up there with København or Copenhagen, as it may be Malmö FF and the big Swedish ones as well. But unbelievable. They've done everything wrong. Hired different sporting directors, different coaches, different styles. Absolutely a vacuum of everything. To compare it to a situation that maybe some people would understand, it's sort of a post-Sir Alex Ferguson Man United drop-off thing, because they had this very, very strong and influential leader in Eggen. The manager was a father figure, was everything that Sir Alex Ferguson was for Manchester United, and more, I would say, for Rosenborg. He's passed now, and they never ever filled the void. They still live in the past, Steve, just like the Man United supporters do in many ways. Everything was better before. Oh, Sir Alex Ferguson, Theatre of Dreams, the fear factor at Old Trafford. Everything's gone. Everything's gone at Rosenborg as well. But now they've taken another route. They've hired a Swedish, extremely young manager, and he's taken over an extremely young squad. You have a few old but gold players in Rosenborg still. Selnes, Henriksen, the old guard still there. But look at the rest of them. They're 16, 17, 18 years old. And there's really no good players in between. That's my opinion anyways. That you got very good youngsters, high level of veterans, but 28, 27, 26-year-olds of this world who should really be running the club and running the team, not there. So the future looks brighter for Rosenborg now than earlier, but still a long way to go for them. But they're on the right track. They've done good things. I like the Swedish manager as well. He looks the part in many ways. He's a positive guy and brings energy back to the club, the group. The fans have a lot of patience with him as well. So yeah, Rosenborg on a good path, I think now. But as you said, the drop-off has been unbelievable.
Would it be a big positive for Norwegian football that if they were to come back strong again, or has it been kind of a different relief almost to have some different teams winning leagues and being in contention?
Yeah, but both, I would say.
Yeah, both.
Norwegian football would be stronger if sort of the largest engine of the league would come back and power on and be a contender for the league. Bodø/Glimt wouldn't go away, Molde wouldn't go away, Brann wouldn't go away. So yeah, in that case it would be brilliant, fantastic to have them back. But the first few years of failure in Trondheim mostly were met by cheers and laughter in the rest of the country.
Yeah, that's the same when Man United. It was the same with Man United over here, when because they're used to many years of dominance. But I agree with you. I think they are heading backwards. I mean, they do have two of the most valuable 5 players on Transfermarkt at the moment. You can take those numbers with a pinch of salt, but Sverre Nipan, the next Martin Odegaard, a lot of people calling him, and Jadon Nelson as well. Although I'm not sure I'd value him as the 5th most valuable
I'll
player
take
in
him
the
off
league.
the list. I'll back you there. Yeah.
Not sure I'd have that, but there is. You're right. There is some young talent that is at the club, and me talking of talent, this other big question I always get asked, and this is probably the biggest question I ask myself, and I don't even know the answers. You are heading out to Germany for the Euro 2024, but Norway.
I know where you're going now. Well, it's a dagger in my heart. You're going to kill me now. I know where you're going. Yeah, go on.
I know, and I look at this is a frustration for me. Not once since since I started doing the Nordic football podcast, have Norway ever been at a major tournament. And there was times when Sweden were there, and I was jealous of Jonathan able to do loads of footage and all this. And Norway are not there, but I look at the squad now. Yeah, and I certainly think for the last 2 tournaments, I am just shocked that how Norway's not even really got close to qualifying.
Yeah,
it's not even been a close call. What? I don't even. I almost feel. I don't know what. How has this happened? How are Norway not as good as they have been? And has the next 2 tournaments, you've got to be there, right?
We've got to be there.
How does it improve?
No excuse anymore. There's no excuse anymore.
What's gone wrong?
First of all, thank you for bringing this subject, Steve. Last time we qualified was 2000. We beat Spain 1-0. Stefan Iversen, former Tottenham striker. beautiful header.
Fox in the box.
Fox in the box, yeah. Son of Odd Iversen, maybe one of the greatest strikers who ever graced a Norwegian pitch, by the way. But that's another story. Yeah, what's gone wrong? I think we've been through a change. We've been through generational change. Now we have superstars in Erling Braut Haaland, Martin Ødegaard. Of course, we got good, very good players abroad in big leagues. But we have one problem, and that is our defense. We used to be a nation of big, strong centre-halves, didn't we? If you remember back to Henning Berg and Ronny Johnsen or Erland Olsen, or like we had Premier League top players couldn't get a game because we had fantastic centre-halves. I think the switch to artificial pitches, which you need in Norway if you come here and look at the weather, we need them because then we can play and extend our seasons. Has been a problem for the development of defenders. I think the physical part of it, the big, strong sort of attributes that especially central halves needs has gone. They all want to be a Martin Ødegaard. They all want to be a number 10. They all want to have the ball at their feet and so on. So that's been a problem. We haven't had really good defenders for a while. Yeah, we have Kristoffer Ajer, who plays for Brentford, but he plays in a back three and got a lot of playing time this season, which was good. But I have a sneaking suspicion that Ståle Solbakken, our national manager, doesn't really rate him that much. We got Leo Shiri Østegård, which is a tough name to pronounce for non-Norwegians, who got a few games in Napoli, got his winner's medal at Napoli last season, but was the fourth choice, maybe the fifth even, by the end of the season. So, yeah, we're lacking defenders. It's been a problem. Our goalkeeper has been a problem because he hadn't had games. That's been solved now. Nyland is playing well in La Liga. So he's cemented down a place there. So the excuses are getting fewer, Steve. Ryerson, Julian Ryerson, played the Champions League final.
He shut down Mbappe, didn't he?
Yeah.
Completely in the semi-finals. Had a problem with Vinicius in the final, but which player on earth doesn't at the moment? So we're running out of excuses now. Does the manager deserve some criticism at all, do you think?
I think Ståle Solbakken is the right man for Norway. I really do. He's the one they've sought after for years. Now he's here. It's been a disappointment. We haven't got to the qualifications, but if you break down last season's qualifications and the Nations League, which also is a way into the Euros, as you know, we've been unlucky as well. We were for 40 minutes we ran the game against Spain away. We were brilliant, and that was without Haaland, who couldn't play, which has been a problem as well. He's been injured for a lot of the games in Nations League or the qualifications. I think up to 40% of the games he was out. And we are a different animal without him because every team has to sort of be aware of him and play to his strength in many ways. So we've been unlucky, but we mainly just haven't cut the mustard. And it's like a mental block as well, I think. Look at the last 5-10 minutes of games. That's where it all gone.
Are the public frustrated? Frustrated by them. Yeah.
Massively. Yeah, massively.
Yeah, I can understand that. You've got goals in you. I think you've got a lot of goals in you. I mean, Haaland, Sherlock has had a fantastic season. I really like what I've seen from Alexander Sherlock this season. Just my sort of striker.
The season he's had, huh?
Yeah.
He hasn't taken one penalty, has he?
No, I don't think he did. The goals are there. I mean, I think Norway, we don't know the draw yet for the qualifying groups, but I think you'll probably be in pot 3, maybe 2. I think there's teams I wouldn't want to be drawing Norway in my group, because I think at some point you just have to come good.
We need to come over that mental block as well. We need to, like our national manager said, we need to learn how to love to suffer. The last 5-10 minutes when the games are decided, that's when we fail. That's what they need to learn. They need to love to suffer.
That's when Scotland came good against you twice, I think.
Yeah.
So
fighting mentality was brilliant. But then again, we absolutely gifted them goals, didn't we? So it's a massive frustration. We need to be there. We will be there at some point with the amount of talent we have.
Yeah, I think we need to be.
I think we're better than Sweden at the moment, which is been a few years in coming. So we will be there, and be aware, the mighty Vikings. They will be back at one point. But I've been working for TV2 since 2003, Steve, and working for the sports and football. Never ever have I covered a World Cup or a Euros with a Norwegian team in it, and it makes me sad.
That'd be big, wouldn't it? First time you're back in 20 years or whatever, it would be a big, really big thing. You said you've been around a lot of places. Before we go, just got on the itinerary here. I've put say I was going to visit Norway, which is long overdue. There's a lot of people keep asking me to come over. It's your top 3 favorite locations to visit in Norwegian football. It can be the city, it can be the grounds, or everything combined. What do you think?
Easy answer would be Drammen, and then Drammen. Just do it 3 times, and then you're there. I call it the Venice of the North, which is absolutely bollocks. It is my hometown. It's not particularly pretty either.
It's a strong footballing area, though, isn't it?
Yeah. It's close to Oslo, so yeah, it's a strong area. But no. Let's put Drammen on the list then, just because you can
talk you into it. Drammen goes on the list.
Yeah, go on the list because it's a small little town close to Oslo, easy to come in and out from. You can do salmon fishing from the river. In how many cities can you throw out the old pole there, Steve, and go salmon fishing in the middle of a city? Not many. Many.
No.
So put that on there, just because it's Drammen and close to my heart. But I have to say, Bergen, the town I live in, is maybe most popular tourist.
Picture postcard.
Fjords and very very wet though. So bring an umbrella. But it's a beautiful town. It's a beautiful town, and the footballing hype at the moment here is brilliant. All the games are sold out. Brann is on fire. You get to see Norwegian football at its peak, I would say, with the backing, good team, beautiful city. You can do the fan walk from town if you want to, sort of in a German-style Bundesliga thing where they all walk in together. So that'll be on the list. And why not go Tromsø? If you
everyone keeps saying you've got to go there. They're saying to me.
And do it in the summer as well. Get the midnight sun. It never goes dark.
They could play a round of golf at midnight if they do have a golf course up there.
But yeah. It's hard to go to bed though. You're at the pub and think it's 10 o'clock, but you have a look at the watch.
Messes with your body clock. Yeah. It's. So, there's some great places. I mean, just right now before we go off, currently in Norwegian football, who are your favourite players to interview? Managers. There's some great characters. I always feel like you guys, whenever I listen to interviews, Sweden as well, seem to get more out of the players and managers than we ever do over here. Although the interviewers over here are quite boring, I must say. The same stupid questions get asked all the time. Have you got any particular favourites that you really like interviewing?
You put me on the spot there, Steve. But I think you're absolutely right about both the coaches and the players not being that drilled as for players from the big leagues. So the emotions run high and they say what they want. But I have to put Ole Sæter, the Rosenborg striker, up there, which he calls himself Superman. He had an interview with a colleague of mine, and said, "Well, when can I come and visit you in your apartment?" Ole said, "Well, what about 8 o'clock in the morning? I'll give you tacos and we'll have a little chat." So he made tacos at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
It's not my type of breakfast. I know there's a breakfast burrito out there, but that's Norwegian football for you. And he was wearing sort of a weird Siberian-looking hat and his robe, and in his morning robe thing, and underneath he had a Superman shirt, and he was like, "Well, welcome in." So yeah, he's up there. He's absolutely up there. He's a nutcase in a good way, and there's many of them in Norway.
Rosenborg always had some interesting ones. Paul Andre Ellen,
yeah,
an interesting guy.
He's a pundit now.
He came in with some interesting stuff down the years. Yeah, like I said, I think you've got some fantastic people out there. Where can we find you, Jon, on the socials for those who want to follow more of you?
I am so old now, Steve,
you're on X?
by the grey hair. So yeah, X is probably the best place to find me.
Instagram, TikTok.
I am not on TikTok. The kids are though, but not me. But on X, as it's called here, I am on, and it's TV2_JON. So
there we go. Well, thank you very much for coming on and having a great chat here about Norwegian football. And, we continue to follow your progress with the great TV2 over there in Norway, and enjoy Germany. Enjoy the Euros this summer. I will. I'll be out on Monday already. I'll be out there. So hopefully the weather will be better. It should be, no doubt. Safe travels and take care, Jon. Thank you very much again. Goodbye. Thank you.